My sister humiliated me at her baby shower over my infertility. Months later, I got pregnant, but they never knew until I posted the photo and left them speechless. I'm 34 years old. I work as a project manager at a consulting firm, and what happened 8 months ago literally destroyed my relationship with my family. With my mom and younger sister specifically, because my dad has always been kind of distant anyway. And the truth is, I need to tell this story because there are still people who tell me I overreacted, that I should have been the bigger sister and swallowed my pride. But after everything I went through and how they treated me, I don't know, I think I did the right thing. I guess to understand why everything exploded the way it did, I need to go back a bit and explain how things were before. I was always the responsible daughter, the one who got good grades, the one who helped around the house, the one who didn't cause problems. My sister Kelly is 6 years younger than me, so when she was little, I was already in college and working part-time, and I think that's why my mom, Barbara, was always more lenient with her. Kelly was the baby, the spoiled one, and I was like the one who could already take care of herself. It didn't bother me that much back then. I loved my sister and that was that. But looking back, I should have seen it coming. That dynamic where Kelly always got what she wanted and I always had to be the mature one, the understanding one. I met my husband Benjamin when I was 26. We got married 2 years later. And basically, he's the best person I know. He's a corporate lawyer, super calm but also very protective of me, and since we got married, we wanted to have kids. The thing is, nothing was happening. 1 year trying, nothing. 2 years, nothing. We went to the doctor, did all the tests, and turns out I had some fertility issues. Nothing impossible according to the doctors, but it was going to be harder to get pregnant naturally. We were considering treatments when I finally got pregnant. Naturally, like 2.5 years after we got married. We were happy. Like euphoric. I know. After so long trying, I lost that pregnancy at 9 weeks. I'm not going to go into details because it still hurts to think about it. But it was devastating. Literally the worst experience of my life up to that point. Benjamin was incredible. My mom was also pretty understanding at first, but Kelly kind of didn't get the magnitude of what had happened. She was like 22 at the time, and was in that phase of her life where everything was parties and going out with friends. So when I told her, she basically said, "Oh, that sucks. There will be another one," and kept talking about her stuff. I tried not to take it personally because I guess at that age it's hard to understand that kind of pain if you haven't lived it. Like 8 months passed after the loss, and Benjamin and I decided we were going to keep trying but without pressure, that if it happened, and if not, then eventually we'd look for other options. My mom would ask me every 2 weeks if I was pregnant again, which was super uncomfortable and stressful, but well, that's her, always in everyone's business. Kelly, meanwhile, had started a serious relationship with a guy named Derek. They seemed happy, I guess, and like a year into being together, they announced they were expecting a baby. Obviously, the whole family was happy for her. I was too, honestly. But I'm not going to lie. It hurt a little. Seeing how easy it was for her when I had been struggling with this for years. My mom was obsessed with Kelly's pregnancy, talked about it all the time, bought stuff for the baby every week, and Kelly was getting more and more demanding and bratty. But well, that's normal in pregnancy, I guess. What wasn't normal was when Kelly called me one day, this was like when she was 5 months pregnant, and told me she wanted me to organize her baby shower. She didn't ask if I could or if I wanted to. She just assumed I was going to do it because I'm her older sister and that's what you do. I said yes because, honestly, what was I going to say? My mom also started pressuring me, saying it would be nice for me to do this for my sister, that it was a way of showing I supported her. Kelly had very specific ideas about what she wanted. She wanted a safari theme in neutral tones because she didn't know the baby's sex yet. She wanted it to be at a specific venue that cost like $2,000 just for the rental. She wanted food from a specific caterer. Elaborate decorations, games, everything. When I showed her the estimated budget for everything she wanted, we were talking about almost $5,000. She said no problem, that my mom and I could split the costs. I thought it was a lot of money, but I also didn't want to cause drama, so I agreed to pay half. Here's where things get interesting. Right? 2 weeks before Kelly's baby shower, I found out I was pregnant. I took the test in the morning before going to work and I couldn't believe it, after 2 years trying and the previous loss, there it was, 2 clear lines. I called Benjamin crying and he left his office immediately to come home. We bought like 5 more tests, and they all came out positive. We were in shock. Happy, but also terrified that the same thing would happen as last time. We decided not to tell anyone yet, not even my mom. We wanted to wait at least until we got past the first trimester, especially after what had happened before. The problem was that right then I had to be organizing Kelly's baby shower. Smiling and acting normal while inside, I was like dying of excitement but also fear. I went to all the meetings with the caterer, checked the decorations 1,000 times, coordinated the guest list, basically became a wedding planner, but for a baby shower. Kelly invited like 50 people, between family and friends. Her best friend Vanessa was super involved in everything, and I have to say that woman never liked me. She's one of those dramatic people who make everything a show, you know, super loud, always seeking attention, and kind of cruel with her comments but disguises it as humor. Kelly and Vanessa were inseparable, practically lived on social media documenting everything, and Vanessa had self-appointed herself as the unofficial godmother of Kelly's baby. The day of the baby shower came and everything was perfect. The venue looked beautiful, the food was ready, the games were organized, there were gifts everywhere. I had arrived like 3 hours early to supervise everything, and by that point I was almost 6 weeks pregnant and was dealing with morning sickness that technically lasted all day. But there I was, smiling and making sure everything was perfect for my sister. Kelly arrived radiant in a white dress that had cost like $300 that he helped pay for. By the way, everyone congratulated her, took photos, ate, played. My mom was in her element being the excited grandmother. My dad William was in a corner, kind of lost as always, and Benjamin was with me trying to help with whatever he could, although you could tell he was uncomfortable in that super feminine environment. The time came to open gifts, which is basically the main event of these things. Kelly sat in a chair decorated especially for her. Vanessa was next to her taking photos of everything, and I was writing down who gave what so Kelly could send thank you notes later. Everything was going well until Kelly opened a gift that was a super cute baby clothes set, and someone made a comment like, "Oh, how cute. I'm sure Amanda is already planning when she's going to have hers." There was an awkward silence for a second, and I just smiled and said something like, "Oh yeah, we'll see," trying to move on. But Vanessa, this damn woman, decided that was the perfect moment to open her mouth. She said out loud, for everyone to hear, something like, "Oh no, Amanda can't have babies. She had a miscarriage a while back and hasn't been able to get pregnant again. It's sad, but, well, at least she can be the doting aunt." I swear everything stopped. I literally felt like I had been punched in the stomach. I couldn't breathe. All the people in that room were staring at me with those faces of pity or discomfort, and I just wanted the earth to swallow me. Benjamin immediately stood up and came toward me, but I was like frozen. The worst part wasn't even what Vanessa said, but that Kelly laughed. Not an uncomfortable laugh, a real laugh, and said something like, "Oh, Vanessa, you're terrible. But yeah, it's true. Poor Amanda has had bad luck with that." I don't remember exactly what happened in the next 30 seconds, but suddenly I was standing. Benjamin had his arm around me, and my mom was trying to say something like, Okay, let's continue with the gifts." I looked at Kelly expecting her to say something, to tell Vanessa that was out of line, to defend me somehow, but she just looked at me and shrugged, like saying, "What did you want me to say?" "It's the truth." I went toward Kelly and told her quietly, "I need you to ask Vanessa to apologize. That was completely out of line, and she knows it." Kelly looked at me like I was the one being dramatic and said, "But Amanda? She only said the truth. I don't understand why you're so sensitive. Everyone knows what happened." I told her I didn't care if it was true or not, that there was a way to talk about those things, and publicly humiliating me at her baby shower that I had organized wasn't the right way. She sighed and said, "Look, I'm not going to cause drama at my own baby shower over this. If it bothered you, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to kick out my best friend. I mean, you're overreacting." That's when something in me just broke. I told her it was fine, that she didn't have to kick anyone out, that I was leaving, and she could enjoy the rest of her party. My mom immediately jumped in saying, "Amanda, don't be dramatic. Vanessa already apologized," which was a lie. Vanessa hadn't said absolutely anything. "Stay and stop making this about you." I looked at my mom and told her this wasn't about me until they decided to make it about me, and that I was leaving. Benjamin and I left. In the car, I was shaking. Like literally my whole body was shaking from anger and humiliation. Benjamin was furious. I had never seen him so angry, and he told me he couldn't believe my own sister had let me be humiliated like that in public and hadn't done anything. We got home and I just started crying, not just because of what had happened, but because I was pregnant, and this whole situation had me super stressed and worried that the stress could affect the pregnancy. Like 2 hours later, I got a message from Kelly saying I had ruined her baby shower, that everyone had been uncomfortable after I left, that my mom had to explain to everyone why I had left, and that I needed to apologize. I didn't answer. Then my mom called me and basically told me the same thing, that I had been immature, that Vanessa hadn't said anything wrong, that I was being dramatic and sensitive, and that I owed Kelly an apology for ruining her special day. I went like 3 days without talking to anyone in my family except my dad, who sent me a short message saying he was sorry things had gotten that way, but he wasn't going to get involved. Typical of him, always avoiding conflicts. Benjamin, meanwhile, had been investigating, and apparently what Vanessa did could be considered defamation or something like that. And he decided to send her a private message on Facebook, telling her that what she had done was unacceptable, and that if she didn't delete any mention of this on her social media and apologize publicly, he was going to explore legal options. Vanessa responded immediately with a super fake apology, saying she didn't know I was so sensitive about the topic, that she thought it was something everyone knew and she didn't see the problem, but that if it bothered us so much she apologized. She never did anything public, by the way, just that private apology that didn't help at all. Then came the money thing. Turns out I had paid half of the catering in advance, but there was another half that was paid after the event. The catering company contacted me asking for the remaining payment of like $1,200, and I told them I wasn't going to pay, to contact Kelly or my mom because I was no longer involved. Kelly called me furious, saying we had an agreement, that I had promised to pay half, and that I couldn't leave her hanging like that. I told her the agreement was that I was going to help organize her baby shower and be treated with respect, and that neither of those things had happened, so she should take care of paying what was left. My mom intervened, saying I was being vindictive and petty, that Kelly was my sister and was pregnant, that I couldn't do this to her. I told both of them that if they wanted me to pay the rest, Kelly needed to apologize for how she had treated me, and Vanessa needed to apologize publicly. Kelly refused, saying she had nothing to apologize for, that I was the one who had caused the drama and left, and that Vanessa had only told the truth. Eventually, my mom paid the rest of the catering to not look bad with the company, but she sent me messages for days telling me I owed her that money, that what I had done was shameful, that Kelly was devastated, and basically trying to make me feel guilty. I blocked her messages for a while because I couldn't deal with that on top of everything else. Like 2 months passed, and Kelly had her baby, a girl. My mom sent me photos and told me Kelly wanted me to go to the hospital to meet her. I was still hurt by everything, but I thought, well, she's my niece. It's not her fault what happened. Maybe I can go, and things will calm down. I told my mom I would go the next day when Kelly was more rested. My mom told me Kelly had said that if I went, I had to apologize first for the baby shower thing, and that's when I decided no, I wasn't going to do that. I sent Kelly a message congratulating her on the birth of her daughter, but telling her I wasn't going to go meet her until she understood that what happened at the baby shower was wrong. Kelly responded saying then I would never meet her daughter, that she didn't need my toxicity around her baby, and that she was fine without me in her life. I told her if that was her decision, I respected it, but the door was open. If she ever wanted to have a real conversation about what happened, fast forward like 3 months after that. I was already like 5 months pregnant, and it was showing, but I still hadn't told my family. My mom had seen me a couple of times for coffee, trying to convince me to make up with Kelly, but I would go in loose clothing, and she hadn't noticed. Benjamin and I had decided we weren't going to say anything until after the baby was born, basically to avoid all the drama I knew was going to come. Then I get a message from Kelly. We hadn't talked in months. You know, since that conversation about meeting her daughter. The message said something like, "Hi, I know things are weird between us, but I need a favor. Derek and I need to go out this weekend and we don't have anyone to leave the baby with. Could you watch her on Saturday?" I couldn't believe it. This woman who had told me I was toxic and didn't want me to meet her daughter was now asking me to babysit so she could go out. I responded asking her if she was serious, and she said yes, that it was just for a few hours, that it wasn't a big deal. I told her no, first because we hadn't talked in months, and second because she herself had said she didn't want me around her baby. Kelly got upset and said I was still resentful about something stupid that had happened months ago, that she needed help and I, as her sister, should be there for her. I told her if she really needed me as a sister, then maybe she should have treated me like a sister at her baby shower. My mom found out about this conversation and called me saying Kelly was crying, that I was cruel, that how could I refuse to help my sister when she had a small baby and needed a break. I explained the whole situation, and my mom basically said I was being immature, that a lot of time had passed, that I needed to get over it. I told her I wasn't going to get over something that no one ever properly apologized for, and that if Kelly wanted my help or wanted to have any kind of relationship with me, she needed to acknowledge that what happened was wrong. Kelly sent me one last message saying she was never going to apologize for telling the truth, that I was infertile and everyone knew it, that if I couldn't handle that it was my problem, and that officially we were done as sisters. She also said that, when I had kids, if I ever did, she wasn't going to be there for me, just like I wasn't there for her now. I responded that I took note and wished her the best. I blocked Kelly on everything. My mom kept sending me messages trying to get me to make peace. But eventually, I blocked her too, because I just couldn't deal with her constant guilt-tripping. My dad didn't say anything about the situation. I think he didn't even know all the details, because he's always been kind of emotionally absent. I gave birth to my daughter in February, a perfect and healthy baby. It was the happiest day of my life. Benjamin was with me. My in-laws came to the hospital. Some close friends too. But no one from my family because I simply hadn't told them I was pregnant. We didn't send a message to anyone. We didn't post anything. We just enjoyed our time with our daughter the first few days. Like a week after we got home from the hospital, I posted a photo of my daughter on Instagram. I didn't say anything about when she was born. I just put a cute photo of her sleeping with a simple caption saying she was the best thing that had happened to us. In less than an hour, my phone exploded. My mom called me like 15 times. Kelly sent me furious messages even though I had her blocked, but apparently she found a way to contact me through other means. And even some relatives who didn't even know about all the drama were writing to me confused. My dad was the only one who called me calmly. He told me he had seen the photo, that the baby was beautiful, congratulations, but that the family was upset because I hadn't told them I was pregnant or let them know when she was born. I explained the whole situation from my perspective, including things he maybe didn't know about the baby shower and everything that came after. He listened and in the end said he understood my point, but that this had caused a lot of drama in the family, and that my mom and Kelly felt I had betrayed them. I told him it was interesting they were talking about betrayal when Kelly allowed me to be publicly humiliated and never defended me, when they told me I was toxic and shouldn't be around my niece, when they asked me for apologies for things I didn't do wrong while I never received an apology for the things they did to me. I told him I had decided to protect my peace of mind and my pregnancy from all that drama, and that if that made me the bad guy in the story, then so be it. My dad sighed and said this had gotten out of control, that Kelly was saying I had hidden my pregnancy on purpose to get revenge on her, that my mom was devastated to have missed the whole pregnancy and birth, and that basically the whole family was divided about whether I had done right or wrong. I told him I didn't hide anything for revenge, that I simply decided that after how they treated me, I didn't want to share something so personal and vulnerable with people who didn't support me when I needed it most. Basically, I made it clear that my priority now was my family, my husband, and my daughter, and that if Kelly or my mom wanted to be part of that family, they needed to acknowledge the damage they caused and apologize appropriately. Not fake apologies like, "I'm sorry if you were offended," but a real acknowledgement that what happened was wrong. My dad said he understood, but that was never going to happen because Kelly was stubborn and my mom was always going to defend her. 8 months have passed since my daughter was born and the situation is still the same. I don't talk to Kelly or my mom. My dad calls me every now and then to see how I am, but we don't talk about them. My daughter is 8 months old now. She's amazing, and I'm so grateful to have her. Benjamin continues to be the best dad and husband, and his family has supported us completely through all of this. Some relatives have told me I'm being too harsh, that family is family and you have to forgive. But the truth is, I feel more at peace now than when I was trying to maintain a relationship with people who didn't respect me. Sometimes, I wonder if I did the right thing, if I should have been bigger and forgiven, even though they never asked for forgiveness. But then I think about my daughter and how I want her to grow up knowing that her mom respects herself and doesn't allow anyone to treat her badly, not even family. Kelly posted recently photos of my niece's first birthday, and I'm not going to lie, it hurt a little to see them and know I wasn't there. But I also know I couldn't be there without betraying my own values and boundaries. Last week, my daughter said mama for the first time. Benjamin was recording and we captured the moment. I didn't send it to anyone in my family. I just uploaded it to my private social media where they can't see. And the truth is, I'm okay with that. My daughter is going to grow up surrounded by people who respect us and truly love us. And that's enough for now, I guess.